Oh no, here he comes.
Who is it?
It was Gordon, and he was backing up gently to the coaches.
Well, little Thomas, I suppose you fetch my coaches in the proper way a little tank engine like you should do it.
Yes, Gordon, I did fetch your coaches.
Oh, so you're Hilda.
Yes?
Came to cause trouble like you did with Edward, I suppose.
Excuse me?
A little girl like you should not be interfering with us big engines. We are too important and don't have time to talk with troublesome kids like you.
Gordon!
To say such a thing. She learned her lesson, and you don't need to rub it in.
My daughter is no troublemaker. Yes, she may have made a lot of mistakes, but she tries to fix them.
Well, ma'am, I think you should look after your child more and not let her do these ridiculous adventures such as going out on her own.
I'll have you know that Hilda has done many great things that a lot of children like her age haven't done before.
Pah! I don't have time for this. I have an express to run.
And Gordon puffed away.
What a rude engine.
That was Gordon.
Last night, he told us that your adventure was silly.
Hilda, Gordon is a nice engine, but sometimes he can be bossy, rude, and even puts himself over engines like me, Edward, Percy, Toby, and other small engines.
He reminds me a lot of Eric Olbeck a bit. He was the new head officer of the safety patrol, and he was an absolute glory hub.
But he soon went into an early retirement and his deputy became the new head officer. Don't get upset, sweetheart. Just don't pay any attention to him. I'm sure he'll be nicer to you eventually.
I hope so.
Thomas felt bad for Hilda. He wanted to make her happy again. Then he had an idea.
Hilda, I'm going to be working on my branch line today, and if it's okay with your mother and the Fat Controller, that you two could come along with your dear Fox and Alpha, could have a little ride along with me and my coaches as we explore my branch line.
Wait, would you do that?
Of course I would.
Hilda felt happy again.
Mum, what do you think?
Well, I think we could, but I'll have to ask their controller.
That won't be necessary.
There, walking over to them, was no other than the Fat Controller.
Oh, hello, sir. We were just going to ask you...
That if this family could go and have a ride on your branch line. Yes, I think it would be a nice experience for them. As long as they are safe with you and your crew, then I'm fine with that.
Thomas and Hilda were excited.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome, Hilda, and it's a pleasure to meet you. And you too, ma'am.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Mr.
Topham, Sir Topham Hatt, but everyone calls me as the Fat Controller. Most people call me that anyway.
Well, I hope you all have fun on Thomas's branch line. It's quite beautiful.
I'm sure it is. It will probably remind us a lot of our old home before moving to Trollberg.
Soon, Hilda, Joan, Twig and Alpha got on board from Annie and Clarabelle. The guard blew his whistle, and Thomas set off. Finally, they arrived at Fargo Station.
So, did you enjoy the ride?
It was lovely, Thomas, looking at all the different stations, farms and cricket fields.
And even an orange tractor.
You mean Terrence? Oh yeah, he mostly works in his field sometimes. He saved me from a snowdrift once. Well, I better get going. I must turn around to return to Knapford.
And that's what Thomas did.
Come on, Hilda, let's wait for him to arrive.
Time has passed and there was still no sign of Thomas. And the passengers were also impatient to keep waiting for him.
Where's Thomas? He said he was going to turn around, but not that much.
Oh, there he is!
Sorry if I'm late. There was a problem with the turntable at Osdale End.
Hilda and Joanna suddenly realized of what Thomas said. But this made the passengers very cross. And they all got up again from Thomas's coaches. Then there was trouble.
Wait a minute. Where's Twig?
Twig?
Hey, watch it!
Twig! Wait! I've got to go get him! Get off me!
Hey!
We can't leave him!
Well, we don't have any other choice.
Huh?
It must be an emergency!
What just happened?
Alright, who was the one who applied the emergency cable?
Twig! I'm sorry, boy.
I'm sorry, my daughter left her dear fox pet behind from the stations. We couldn't warn the crew about it, so we had to use the emergency cable instead.
Leaving any kind of object or pet behind, it's not an emergency.
Quite right.
I couldn't have put it better myself.
Oh dear. The Fat Controller won't like that.
And he wasn't.
Know how much you three love your pet, but you have to realize that there was plenty of passengers who wanted to get to their destinations.
We're sorry, Sir Topham. I just didn't want to lose Twig again like we did back in Trollbert.
I understand, Hilda, but you should also be careful of what you're leaving behind. And you, Miss Johanna, should be more aware if there is a real emergency.
I know, Sir Topham. I'm so sorry.
Please, sir, don't blame Hilda and her mother. It was my fault.
But, Thomas, you don't have to.
No, Hilda, it's the truth. I was in a big rush to get here because the turntable was not working properly. And I'm sorry I left you behind, Twig. I really deserve a punishment.
Well, Thomas, since you confessed about your actions for today, then I owe you an apology for what I said.
Thank you, sir.
And as for you, Thomas, you'll shut trucks in the yard until you learned how to not be so rash with your timetable. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
That's a good engine. Now you excuse me, I must go back to mine.
Sir, they want you to the telephone.
Oh, bother the telephone.
Thank you for defending us, Thomas.
That was really kind of you.
No problem, ladies. And you're welcome too, Twig.
Later that night, Thomas returned to Tidmouth Sheds very tired. Gordon and James began teasing him.
Oh, look, James. Here comes little Rushy Thomas.
Oh, not again.
What's the matter, little Rushy Thomas? Are you feeling a little rushy today? Perhaps you should rush more with your timetable every day.
Oh, but that's not the only thing, Gordon, because he also makes the passengers late.
For goodness sake, you two, will you stop teasing him? It wasn't his fault that he left Twig behind, but he also wanted to get to Nuffet as soon as possible. In fact, he wanted to show the Fat Controller how useful he is. So, I want you two to shut up and let him and the others rest.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Don't worry, Thomas. Just don't pay them attention. They'll change their minds someday.
Thank you, Edward.
While the situation was calming down, Henry looked suspiciously at Thomas and Edward, thinking if they were right about Helda's adventures.
Henry, are you okay?
Huh? What? Oh, nothing, Percy. I'm just thinking.
About what?
I don't know, but I'll figure it out. Someday.